top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Guyana's largest ever budget presented. GCOM chair says no to biometrics for 2025 elections. Says procurement, public education won't be done in time. Walton Desir urges government to launch global PR campaign on Essequibo dispute. And the JAGBO denies directing Brutus's transfer, says ethnic diversity is a laudable motive. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Aletha Grant with the Friday 17th January 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We will tell you this evening that the People's Progressive Party civic government has presented its largest ever national budget. Budget 2025 was presented on Friday in the National Assembly. Antonio Day has that story.
Budget 2025 is 20.6% greater than Budget 2024, totaling $1.382 trillion Guyana dollars.
That was Dr. Ashni Singh, Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, during his budget presentation on Friday in the National Assembly. Budget 2025 was presented on the theme, A Secure, Prosperous and Sustainable Guyana. According to Dr. Singh, this year's fiscal plan will stimulate economic growth.
Budget 2025 builds on this momentum, continuing our government's commitment to boost economic activity, promote production and productivity, create ample opportunities for income generation, and incentivize effort and hard work.
With this year's budget being the largest to date, sectors such as education is earmarked to receive a budgetary allocation of $175 billion. Last year, the sector received a budgetary allocation of $135.2 billion. Singh also announced the total receipts for public enterprises have witnessed a significant increase. The health sector is set to receive a budgetary allocation of $143.2 billion in 2025, an increase from $129.8 billion in 2024. On the public infrastructure, in excess of $233.3 billion was allocated for the development of roads, bridges, sea defense, and airports. This year, $23.1 billion will go towards the expansion of the water sector, while $112.6 billion will go towards the housing sector. On the agriculture sector, agro-processing received $800 million to support investments in value chain development, while $2.9 billion was allocated towards the development and expansion of other crops, followed by fisheries and aquaculture with $1.3 billion. $430.9 million was allocated to improve efficiency and productivity in the rice industry, while $88 billion was allocated towards energy expansion and diversification. To address solid waste management services, a sum of $13.2 billion was also allocated. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We will be bringing you further details on Budget 2025 in a subsequent newscast. There will be no biometrics for the 2025 general and regional elections. That decision was arrived at by Chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, Claudette Singh. Travis Chase has been following that story.
In the face of mounting calls from the parliamentary opposition and some quarters of civil society, Chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, has said that there will be no implementation of biometrics for the 2025 general and regional elections. Justice Singh, in arriving at her decision, said that with less than a year to go before the general and regional elections, and given the number of tasks needed to be done before such a system can be properly introduced, and all of the work already required to prepare for general and regional elections, she is convinced that this is not feasible within the available time frame. In relation to whether GCOM would introduce the digital collection of fingerprints and biometric fingerprint identification of voters in time for the 2025 general and regional elections, Singh said GCOM would still have to do several major things, including holding stakeholder consultations to determine whether GCOM should introduce biometrics now, consulting with stakeholders like the government and parliament to determine whether it is even possible to do so now, considering things like costs and any legislative amendments necessary to cater fully for it, procurement of equipment for the introduction of biometrics in the registration process and at the place of poll, training of staff on the use of such equipment, public education on the introduction of these systems and how they are to be used to aid in registration and in voting. It was Chief Election Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, Vishnu Prasad, who found that electronic fingerprint biometric registration and voting would be more secure and would address allegations of voter fraud and voter impersonation. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Amid escalating tensions between Guyana and Venezuela over the Essequibo region, Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs Amanda Walton Desir is urging the government of Guyana to launch an aggressive public relations campaign. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs Amanda Walton Desir, in a telephone interview with this newscast, criticized the government for selectively engaging international media only to promote its domestic political propaganda. She stressed that the campaign must not only highlight Guyana's legitimate claim to Essequibo, but also counter Venezuela's provocative actions and statements, including its plans to elect a governor for the region. Walton Desir insists that leveraging social media and international platforms are critical to bring in global attention to Guyana's case.
I am saying to them that they must use those very same media to push Guyana's case on the international community.
Walton Desir stressed that the Guyana-Venezuela issue must take center stage in the court of public opinion.
It means deliberately outreaching to major outlets and news networks using social media, for example. We have thousands of Guyanese who are resident in Essequibo. The government needs to be on the ground, and the message needs to be sent loud and clear to Nicolas Maduro that Essequibians, Guyanese, will not be partaking in any of his shenanigans.
She also urged the government to refocus its efforts and demonstrate its capability to handle domestic and international issues simultaneously.
This is an election season, and that Venezuela will capitalize on our distractions that usually accompany our domestic elections, our national regional elections.
Walton Desir, who is also parliamentarian, argued for a robust public relations campaign that highlights Guyana's unwavering commitment to the peaceful resolution of the Essequibo matter. This campaign, she said, must also expose the baseless nature of Venezuela's claim and rally international support for Guyana's case.
It means engaging the international press. It means sending out your ambassadors to appear in various news programs. It means leveraging platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
The Guyana-Venezuela border dispute centers on Venezuela's claim to the Essequibo region, which makes up nearly 2/3 of Guyana's territory. This issue, dating back to an 1899 arbitral award that Venezuela later rejected, has resurfaced with increased intensity as Venezuela seeks to assert control over the area, citing unverified historical claims. Guyana, backed by international law and a commitment to peaceful resolution, continues to defend its sovereignty, recently taking the matter to the International Court of Justice. Tiana reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. We have more news for you after this break. Stay with us.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style from the latest in electrical appliances. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
Establishment. No job is too small or too large.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. In a significant step towards resolving ongoing salary disputes, the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, alongside the Guyana Labor Union, has agreed on a pay hike for municipal workers. Carice Gonzalez reports.
Following discussions with the Georgetown Mayor and the City Council, as well as the Guyana Labor Union GLU on Thursday, a resolution was reached regarding salary increments for the city's 502 employees. A decision was made to implement a 10% retroactive salary adjustment for 2024, along with an additional 8% raise for 2025. The agreement was formalized with the assistance of Chief Labor Officer Danishwar Dunarain. In an exclusive interview with 90 News, City Mayor Alfred Mentor shared that the negotiations with the Guyana Labor Union were successful in setting a clear timeline for the payment of the salary increases.
And that we needed at least up to the 31st of March to be able to raise enough funds to pay our 10% retroactive for 2024. And then we are also, in relation to the 8% salary increase for 2025, we ask that we get up to the 31st of July.
Mayor Mentor, in emphasizing that it was never City Council's intention to withhold salary increases from workers, explained that the Council's focus had been on improving revenue collection. He also underscored the need to address critical issues affecting the city, such as the development of markets, garbage disposal, drainage, and other essential services. As part of the agreement, the Guyana Labor Union has pledged to assist the Mayor and City Council in its effort to recover overdue taxes.
Even was able to get the GLU to agree to support the Mayor and City Council in its efforts to garner outstanding revenues and to ask them to ask them to speak to the public and to have a public press release to not only the public but businesses and other entities who owe us large sums of rates and taxes.
Meanwhile, Bard Jagdeo, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic (PPPC), during his weekly press briefing on Thursday, criticized the City Council for failing to pay its workers. He insisted that the council, which holds the majority of the APNU seats, must do more to ensure the collection of rates and taxes.
The City Council has a huge source of potential income from which they could meet their liabilities to their workers, to those who supply services to the city, and also for development works. But they refuse to go after that huge source of revenue.
In response to the criticism, Mayor Mentor reiterated that the City Council is committed to collecting the outstanding taxes, including those owed by political parties and the government.
It will be a fair and equitable arrangement with all people, either political parties, either government who has significant outstanding to us, either businesses who have significant outstanding for us, as well as the ordinary citizen. It wouldn't be an issue where we'll give one favor over the other. Everybody will face the music.
I am Carice Gonzalez reporting for the HGP 90 News.
Thank you, Carice. The Guyana Power and Light and the Ministry of Public Works has linked the recent power disruption in the South Rheinveld area to contractor negligence. It was recommended that the contractor be blacklisted. Here again is Carice Gonzalez.
Addressing the issues surrounding residents of South Rheinveld who were forced to withstand almost 2 days without power. Back in December, Bar Jagdeo, the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, revealed that a joint investigation conducted by the Ministry of Public Works and the Guyana Power and Light, GPL, was concluded. According to the findings, the contractor responsible for the work that led to the damage to infrastructure should be banned from future projects.
We need to take firm action against these individuals. There's some people at the engineering level, at the procurement level.
The disruption was attributed to road and drainage construction in the vicinity, which had weakened the foundation supporting GPL's infrastructure. The inquiry into the incident is ongoing, with further actions expected to target individuals who play a role in the disruption. Jagdeo further revealed that several procurement officials had been implicated in unethical conduct. He urged the public to report any instances of corruption encountered, stressing the importance of transparency and integrity in the procurement process.
If any engineer, any procurement officer of the state were to, in any agency, were to solicit a bribe from you or to say they can give you a contract if you give them any money, or to accept shoddy work if you pay them, then just let us know. You can send in even anonymously the letter to us, and trust me, it will be investigated.
Jagdeo made it clear that corrupt practices will not be tolerated and immediate action will be taken against individuals found guilty of misconduct. Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, I am Carice Gonzalez.
In an effort to continue the promotion of sustainable development, the first of its kind renewable energy 300 kilowatt solar installation was commissioned at the Port Morant water treatment plant. Here is Daisy Richards with the details.
With Guyana's low-carbon development strategy 2030 focusing on sustainable development, Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips on Wednesday commissioned the Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI's first renewable energy project, a 300 kilowatt solar installation at the Port Morant water treatment plant. The Prime Minister highlighted that the renewable energy project will bring reliable water supply to the more than 16,000 residents living in Region 6.
What we are doing here today is ensuring that there's little or no further disruption. If, for example, there's a disruption, right, in GPL supply of electricity, we have solar, and that will kick in.
Phillips added that this step will ensure there is clean and dependable water access to the 18 villages along the Quarantine coast.
Now, with the integration of this solar system, we are fundamentally enhancing its reliability and efficiency, reducing dependency on traditional energy sources.
According to the Prime Minister, this is the first of 8 solar farms that will be integrated into Guyana's water treatment facilities.
As Guyana steadily continues along its path towards energy security, sustainability, and climate resilience, the completion of this photovoltaic system is a defining moment.
He pointed out that facilities that rely heavily on water resources will see improvement and will offset 292 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually. The European Union invested £653,364 through the GCCA Plus initiative with technical support from the Energy and Resources Institute in coordination with the Ministry of Housing and Water and the Department of Environment and Climate Change. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Thank you, Daisy. We will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Vaughn's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Cvons Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. As we continue, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat is urging small miners to implement safer practices that will be less detrimental to the environment. Antonio Day reports.
While noting that there has been a significant decline in illegal mining in areas such as Bartica and Madhya, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat is encouraging small miners to be environmentally conscious.
We've taken other steps, our environmental department, GGMC, have been taking steps to work with miners so that we minimize the effect of it on our environment.
According to Bharat, there are instances of small-scale miners who engage in mining operations without settling ponds.
We're going to monitor these mining operations to ensure that everybody or the operations, they have what we call a settling pond.
Toxins like mercury, lead, sulfur dioxide, and other heavy metals can have serious health implications on humans and animals, contaminating water resources such as rivers, lakes, or creeks. This is due to irresponsible mining practices.
And in the past, we find that some miners just not take it, they mine and then they discharge the water directly in the creek, which is bad.
According to Minister Bharat, the Natural Resources Ministry, in partnership with the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, known as GGMC, will enforce the utilization of settling ponds when carrying out mining activities.
Mr. Reese, who's in charge of that department, he starts with doing that, ensuring that we enforce this, that miners must have settling ponds.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The General Secretary, the GS of the People's Progressive Party Civic, has once again taken a swipe at Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus. The GS has denied directing Brutus's transfer, but says ethnic diversity is a laudable motive. Travis Chase reports.
It is the view of General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic Bharat Jagdeo that the $1.6 billion lawsuit filed by Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus is nothing but a publicity stunt. Brutus claims that he was racially discriminated against because of the government of Guyana's diversity policy. The embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police has claimed that it was Mr. Jagdeo who instructed that the structure of the police force mirrored the ethnic composition of the country's population. In response, Jagdeo said he cannot recall issuing such a directive.
There has been no such directive. Never met with the Commissioner of Police, and I never asked him to replace Brutus as head of admin.
Mr. Jagdeo believes that Mr. Brutus is treading on dangerous grounds to say he was racially discriminated by his removal as head of the Forces Administration Department.
In this environment, he's trying to accuse the PPP of racial discrimination now. Now, who did not benefit from these things that were paid for? It's the policemen. They didn't get their socks or their vests or etc. or the uniforms in time because of this, or their boots, or got low quality in some other cases. Who are you depriving?
In an attempt to put the charges against Brutus on trial in the public domain, Mr. Jack Dew says the PPPC government has no apology for Brutus's removal as the head of administration of the police force.
And I have no apology, and we have no apology for his removal from the admin. This was not discrimination. I'll tell you why. Now, since Brutus has been really running around and operating in a manner as though he's this clean, upstanding officer.
According to court documents seen by Nightly News, the embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police, who is before the courts on more than 200 fraud-related charges, alleges that a number of police officers who are Indo-Guyanese have been placed in positions above their more qualified and experienced squaddies who are not Indo-Guyanese. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
In this Antonio Days report, you will hear that Guyana earned approximately $2.5 billion from the oil and gas sector last year.
The Guyana government said between October 1st, 2024 and December 31st, 2024, it received some $605 million in revenues from the oil industry. 7 profit oil payments and 1 royalty payment are included in the fourth quarter receipt. The Natural Resource Fund NRF reportedly received $604 million in the first quarter of 2024. A second quarter payment of $778 million and a third quarter payment of $582.8 million followed. Furthermore, the Minister of Natural Resources recently disclosed that the total amount of oil produced in 2024 was 225 lifts. ExxonMobil produced 28 lifts, which came into the local coffers.
7 for Destiny, 11 Unity, and 10 Prosperity.
Additionally, Guyana is now earning more money by receiving a premium of more than $1 per barrel of crude marketed for the Destiny FPSO, which has not happened since the country started producing crude oil. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Antonio. Stay tuned for regional news.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil. A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Montserrat. Harriet Cross has been appointed as the new governor of Montserrat, succeeding Sarah Tucker, who will transfer to another diplomatic service appointment. Cross will officially take up her role in April 2025. With an extensive and distinguished career in the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, Cross brings a wealth of diplomatic experience to her new position. Most recently, she served as the British High Commissioner in Port of Spain from 2020 to 2024. Prior to that, she was the British Consul General to New England in Boston from 2016 to 2020. Cross's career includes key diplomatic roles in various global regions. She served as Deputy Ambassador in Sana'a, Yemen from 2015 to 2016 and held several significant positions at the FCDO, including working in the Middle East and North Africa Directorate between 2013 and 2015. Additionally, Cross served at the UK mission to the United Nations in New York from 2007 to 2010. Her experience extends to secondments in law enforcement with the National Crime Squad and contributions to human rights and democracy efforts. Cross began her career in 1997 with the FCDO and has held various posts in Rabat and Brussels, working on political and European-related matters. As she prepares to take on the role of Governor of Montserrat, Cross's diverse diplomatic background is expected to bring valuable insight and leadership to the island. While in Colombia, Colombian President Gustavo Petro suspended peace talks with the leftist National Liberation Army, ELN, on Friday after accusing the group of committing a war crime in Catatumbo region. Quote, the dialogue process with this group is suspended. The ELN has no will for peace, unquote, Petro said on X. On Thursday, ELN fighters killed at least 5 demobilized members of the former FARC rebels who were part of a 2016 peace agreement. The group also launched attacks against members of the Estado Mayor Central EMC, a FARC dissident faction, engaged in separate peace talks with the government. The violence led to civilian displacement and condemnation from the United Nations. Peace talks between the LNN and the government, which restarted in 2022, have been marred by setbacks. In September, the government suspended negotiations the day after an ELN explosive attack killed 2 soldiers and wounded 29 at the Venezuelan border. Talks also stalled when the government opened separate negotiations with an ELN splinter group in the southwest, while the ELN resumed kidnappings, bombings of oil pipelines, and attacks on security forces. Internationally, the explosion that destroyed the upper stage of SpaceX's Starship vehicle on Thursday was likely caused by a leak, Elon Musk said. Starship launched Thursday afternoon from SpaceX's Starbase satellite in South Texas, kicking off the 7th flight test of the 403-foot-tall mega rocket. Things went well initially. The vehicle's 2 stages, the Super Heavy booster and ship upper stage spacecraft, separated on time, and the Super Heavy returned to Starbase as planned, where it was caught by the launch tower's chopstick arms. The ship ran into problems shortly after its partner's big moment. However, the 171-foot-tall spacecraft broke apart over the Atlantic Ocean roughly 8.5 minutes after liftoff, creating a sky show seen by observers in the Turks and Caicos Islands and other nearby locales. Though it's still early in the anomaly investigation, SpaceX has already identified a likely cause, according to Musk, the company's founder and CEO. Quote, preliminary indication is that we had an oxygen. The company has applied for permission to watching. Do have a great weekend.
Presented, GCOM chair says no to biometrics for 2025 elections, says procurement, public education wouldn't be done in time. Walton Desir urges government to launch global